The Triad is a lively scene as springtime dances in, homeowners are ready to sell, and their built equity is a win. Great homes will be for sale with a new deal behind each door. The Sharp Mortgage Team is excited to help in the spring of 2024. With wisdom and commitment, we'll help you chart your move. A quick conversation and pre-approval will get you in the groove. With pre-approval secured, you'll be steps ahead, you'll see, ready to embrace the home buying journey with confidence and glee. From cozy cottages to sprawling estates, you'll find the perfect fit, and your real estate agent's skill set help and determined grit. With a wealth of knowledge and a heart for your buying success, we'll navigate the housing market, ensuring nothing less. Don't let the media fool you. You deserve a wonderful new nest. With the Sharp Mortgage Team, you're poised for nothing less than the best. Embrace the warmth of springtime, flowers, and skies of blue. Partner with the Sharp Mortgage Team. We're always here for you.
This is the Triad Podcast Network.
Catch a cold. Boy, you couldn't catch
You know this is our first show since the live one?
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Wait, when was the live one?
February.
Is that February? Oh my God. That feels like 6 years ago. Like
It
maybe.
does. We were a little busy. We were a little busy over the last few months. And then, children started throwing up on walls.
Oh my God.
Well, how long did that last?
He threw up like 3 times that night, and then a couple of times the next day, and then it went the other way, which was great.
Oh, out the other end?
Yeah.
Yikes.
Now, to be fair, he had been laying there. This is gonna be a hell of a cold open. He had been laying there, and his stomach was hurting, right? And like when you've got kids and their stomach hurts, like we're all like, I'm like, does he have appendicitis? Has his appendix burst? Like, do I need to take him to the, So then I'm just like, oh wait, no, he is just constipated. Yeah. He hasn't been to the bathroom while he's constipated. So what do? We gave him some Miralax, right?
Oh.
Felt like brilliant parents. And then literally an hour later, he threw up, and we're like, it wasn't constipation. We just put gasoline on a fire.
Hey, welcome everybody. Do we remember how to do the open? Yeah,
Hey, everybody.
Triad Dads with a drink. Hey, we don't ever say this at the beginning, but let's say it here. Bing! Shout out. Thanks. Yeah, bing. Thanks to our friends from Weekend Excursion for the theme song.
Oh, man.
I love
so
opening
good.
the podcast that way.
It's so good. It's awesome.
Outstanding song. Great people.
Yep.
I got to say, I just
Friends
made
of the
a purchase.
pod.
10 out of 10.
Friends of the pod.
That's right. I made a purchase from their website yesterday.
Let me guess. Koozie.
I did. I saw the Instagram story or whatever, and then I went and I bought us all a koozie and a sticker. So,
All of us?
All of us.
You
all,
did?
All 3 of us.
Yeah.
I did. We all.
Look
so
at
they're
you.
they're in the mail somewhere. We got koozies and stickers coming for the pod.
All right. Well, I think
Beautiful, generous man.
you really are. And I think, you know what? I'm going to reward you by letting you introduce yourself first tonight.
Oh, I love that. I'll take it. That's worth the price of admission. Hey, everybody, I'm Dave. And as a side note, it's a funny joke. People don't know what my name is. I was talking to somebody at work today who had met somebody who knew me from college, and they had a long conversation trying to figure out the person from college, trying to figure out who David was, and they were trying to figure out the person I work with, who Dave was. I just outed myself.
I'll bleep it. I'll bleep it.
That's right.
Nobody's supposed to know our last names.
We got dots in here.
See, nobody cares. Nobody cares. It's David Spanish.
That's right.
David Portuguese.
Oh my God! For all 5 of our listeners, 4 of whom we're related to.
Yeah.
So,
It's okay. You know what though? I'm going to clean it up in post. I'm going to bleep it,
right.
and nobody will know your last name.
That is awesome.
Or your first name. We're going to change that too.
You're just going to have a diva name. You're just Dave.
Right.
Just Dave.
Just as Dave. Just Dave. I'm married to a beautiful, amazing,
First
wonderful
name
woman.
structure.
Yeah, first name structure. And then I got 2 kids, Sneak, who did not outsneak the baseball, as we just discussed, and Star. So that is me.
Glorious.
Yeah. Who wants to roll next?
That's great.
My name is Adam. Adam bleep. and I have three.
You bleeped that one in pre-production. That was in pre-production.
I did. Just save myself some time. Be a little more efficient. Actually, AI bleeped that. I didn't even do that. That was all AI.
You're also the least anonymous of the three of us. Like you have like a broadcaster persona. Like people know you. Oh, we're not supposed to know that? Okay.
No, they're different people. They're completely.
Was that you shushing or was that roaring applause at the?
He's like,
that was.
Look at me. I'm a different person. I wear these glasses now.
That's a Clark Kent situation.
Nobody knows who I am. Who am I?
Yeah.
I have 3 children, 2 boys, 1 girl. The oldest is Cody. The middle one is Picky Eater. The little one is Nugget.
Oh,
that's
a
my
sweet
crew.
little thing.
That's
too.
my crew.
Yeah. Yeah, great crew. I have a great crew too. My name's Tim, and I have a wife, and I just celebrated yesterday our 13th wedding anniversary. So that was a good time. And we have 2 kids. Their names are Piglet and Chicklet. They are 8 and 10, and they are wonderful.
Yes, they are.
Peppy girls, and a lot of fun.
Yeah. All right. Well, I've been waiting to do this to do this all day. Hang on.
You're crushing it.
You're killing it. Doing great. Is that a child-proof cap? There it is. Oh,
it's good.
That sound means, you know what that sound means, guys? It's time to talk about our beverages from Tim, who is our wonderful beer sponsor.
Our wonderful beer sponsor is Fiddlin Fish Brewing, located in downtown Winston-Salem, North Carolina. They sponsor us every broadcast with some of their finest delectable beers. And Adam's got some he's going to be tasting from. Adam, which one are you drinking today?
What is that?
I am drinking one called Catch and Release. Great play on words because Fiddlin Fish is the name of the brewery. And this is a baseball-themed beer. They made a beer in partnership with the High Point Rockers baseball team. They are a professional, below the minor leagues, but they're a professional baseball team in High Point. They are called the Rockers. The Rockers, not necessarily because of the music, but because High Point is the furniture capital, and the logo is actually a rocking chair, but it does have like little rocket boosters coming off the bottom legs of the chair. This is an IPA, 6% ABV. I've never tried it before. I'm about to take my first sip. So while I indulge, you guys tell me about what you're drinking tonight.
Well, that sounds great. I am drinking, or I'm about to start drinking and open up a can of Fiddlin Fish's Don't Be Koi, Koi. It is a Japanese-style rice lager, and you guys, I know this isn't a visual medium, but the can is really cool. It's got like beautiful. This Japanese art on it, and it is pretty interesting. It's 5.5 ABV, and we're going to take a sip of that. And while I'm getting ready for that, maybe Dave can tell us what he's drinking. I bet it's going to be some sort of inferior beverage.
No, it's not, because I have self-discipline. I have been holding on to this can of Piedmont's Craftsman ESB since we were last together. I think I took this from your house, Adam, when you said you can have a couple. And many a night, this has been the only decent beer staring me in the face from the fridge. And I've held it because I wanted to have it for this moment and not be left out on the pod. So, man. I love ESB. I don't even think this is I don't know if it's in stock right now, but here we go.
Ooh,
man,
nice crack. That might be the best crack we've ever had on the pod.
That's not something you want to go around advertising. That's the best crack I've had all day.
That's the point where my oldest son would say, "Hey, yo."
Yeah.
Hey, yo.
Sorry. I'm doing a little bit of cleanup of the spray that crack caused across my laptop. That's going to be fun at work tomorrow.
That's always awkward.
That ESB is delicious, by the way. That's one of the ones that I had when we did our live show at Fiddlin Fish, which you can find in the archives of the Triad Podcast Network.
You sure can.
I'm drinking out of my Winston-Salem glass here.
Ooh.
So I'm pretty excited about
I've got my my Tyrion Lannister glass. I drink and I know things.
That's a good one.
And I've got my Big Chill glass, which out of which I'm drinking this rice lager. And let me tell you, it makes me want a big old plate of sushi or something. It is nice and crisp. And,
you like it?
It's very good. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like summertime.
Very light.
Friendly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I like this one. I like this. I like this one. This is a. I mean, it makes sense because it's with a baseball theme to it. But this is the kind of beer that you could sit at a baseball game in the middle of the summer, and you could have a couple of these and still feel okay, and it goes down real smooth. I like this.
That sounds good.
It's great.
Sounds great. Yeah, I like that we're transitioning into the summer beer part of the year. We're starting to get the nice light lagers and the lighter
Kolsch's.
IPAs and Kolsch's and such that are ready. Because even an IPA, but that catch and release is 6%, so it's not.
That's nice.
It's not
on the
like
low end. Yep.
Yeah, it's on the lower end, and it doesn't taste quite as a. I had that after my bike ride, Fiddlin Fish. Ride Like a Fish, the Monday night bike ride, sponsored by Beers and Gears, who actually, our group that does our Monday night bike rides is sponsoring a race team in the Gears and Guitars cycling, the Winston-Salem Cycling Classic, which is this weekend? No, next weekend. It's next weekend, Memorial Day weekend in Winston-Salem. We're going to be out of town. I've got a niece graduating from high school down in South Carolina, so we aren't going to be around for it, but... Beers and Gears / Fiddlin Fish is sponsoring a team in the crit race for the first time, so that's going to be really fun.
All right, guys. Well, now that we are enjoying our beverages settling in for our podcast, we have what I'd say about 3 months worth of dad moments that we can choose from. So,
yeah, we got some things. It's hard to choose.
Tim's coming to the table with about 47 of them.
Yeah,
but
it's an embarrassment of riches.
So what do you guys got? Who wants to go first tonight? Dad Mo's.
I'm happy to jump in. This is my dad mode, but I just want to say, because we've done a little camping trip since we were last together, and I brought the poles. You
did bring the tent poles.
For long-time listeners, they'll remember the last time we attempted to do some camping before that, there were no poles brought, and therefore the tent didn't, work. So I was pretty happy that remembered that piece. So my dad mo that's been enjoyable the last couple weeks is where I live, we're in the middle of a cicada brood emergence. So Brood 19, one of the 13-year periodicals, is happening. And I've never lived through a cicada brood emergence before. I've seen them and kind of visited places where it's happened a couple times, but never lived through it. And I am full dad geeking out with the kids. We go outside and we're counting the cicadas that are laying, strewn across the ground in the driveway. But the main thing we've done is they're so loud, and it's I didn't understand how loud, and just ever present it would be, right? It sounds like a constant droning alarm in the city. The whole city has.
I've heard it sounds like you might be standing next to a lawnmower sometimes.
Yeah. It's like a lawnmower, and then there's a higher pitch, the ones that are farther away, the pitch gets higher, and it really does sound like when you hear a building alarm going off, a couple of blocks away, sounds like that, just all the time.
Now, are you seeing cicadas, Adam, around here?
I'm not.
No,
they're not in. Yeah.
Yeah.
For listeners who are not aware, Dave is located on the far eastern reaches of the Triad, which is also known as the his part of it may be called what's the lesser? There's
Cicadia.
There's another three
Cicadia,
city. Yeah. There's another it's not a triad. It's a tri something.
It's a tripod.
Triax.
A tripod. That's
Triax,
what it is.
yeah.
The famous tripod. And so you're getting the cicada emergence, and we also saw the cicadas when we went camping in the Uwaris. But I haven't seen cicadas around Winston-Salem.
No, I haven't either.
Yeah.
So yeah, Dave, congratulations, by the way.
Yeah, we're happy.
We're getting that same thrill.
It's been fun. So the one thing I've done that's been my full dad mo is I couldn't just listen to the cicadas and be these are loud. I of course went and found a decibel meter app that I downloaded on my phone, and then every time we walk into town, I'm holding my phone over my head, the boombox, and say anything, and then I hush the kids down because I'm guys, shh, we can't. This needs to be an accurate reading so that I can see.
We have to calculate the standard deviation of decibels compared from Monday through Friday in the middle of May.
Somewhere in a parallel universe, there is a beloved weatherman.
There's the app
named Weather Dave, who is everyone's he is a world-class meteorologist who is also part of the morning show team, and he's got a big brilliant smile and loves it, and everybody talks about him. They're who my favorite weatherman of all time is Weather Dave.
Yes,
so you somewhere in the quantum universe, there's a multiverse version of you who is just snappy suits, big smile, and an extraordinary wealth of knowledge about things like cicada emergences and moon cycles.
That's right. That's awesome. So that was my visual media, my visual aid or whatever. So that's the highest decibel reading that I've gotten at street level. So 86
like a lawnmower
decibels.
chainsaw.
Yeah. Just and that's So that's been my fun dad mo.
Why are they so
Who wants
loud?
to go next?
Why are they so loud? Some big crazy wings they got.
Yeah.
Why are you so loud?
They're big crazy wings, and they're trying to find a mate. So
yeah, same reason we were all loud in college.
Yeah.
I guess that's why it didn't work.
Oh, I was supposed to play human, not cicada in this bar.
That's what I get for sloughing off my outer layer of skin.
Yeah. By the way,
and leaving it standing next to the bar.
By the way, I saw a video on Instagram of somebody who went to the Uari desert forest where we went camping and videotaped a rattlesnake. So I will never be going back there again.
You won't go anywhere where rattlesnakes are? That's a lot of places. Wait, you're from Florida?
Yeah.
Yeah,
and I don't live there anymore.
Florida's like America's Australia. Like everything is poisonous there.
I never saw a rattlesnake though.
Okay, well,
saw my share of snakes. I mean, you'd see a little water moccasin somewhere, but never saw a rattlesnake.
Who hasn't seen a water moccasin somewhere?
I wear
in
moccasins.
their pool. Yeah, they're nice. They're nice. Nice summer shoe. Nice summery shoe. Dad
Not
moments.
a sponsor, could be.
Not a sponsor. Yeah, was sponsored by moccasins. That'd be an excellent dad podcast sponsor, actually. Sponsored by moccasins and cargo shorts. How about you, Adam? Do you have a dad mo you want to share?
I do. This dad mo was back in March, actually. So I got to participate in my first career day at school, which was a lot of fun. So my youngest son, my oldest son, well, he didn't really have a traditional experience in elementary school because when he was in kindergarten, that was when COVID hit. So there was no career day for his first 2 years of elementary school. And, I never really signed up for it before until this year. It took until about the second or third email from the school to be like, hey, we still need some people to jump in and do career day. And I was like, all right, cool. Let's do it. Let's do it. So I presented to a rotation of 5 first grade classes. You get about 20 minutes per class. You set up in one of the classrooms and the groups rotate through. And so, I came in as the position of sports broadcaster.
Cool.
So, oh crap, I gave it away. Darn it. There goes my identity. So I went in and I had my headset that I wear. I had, the uniform. You're supposed to wear your uniform. So for me, just, polo branded shirt with App State logo on it. Same thing I wear every moment of every day.
What you're wearing right now.
Correct.
Yeah.
And, wore my media pass around my neck. Brought in some of the things I use during the game. I have these huge spotting boards that I use, so I brought those with me. But I thought I was reading up on some things about hey, here's just some websites that have tips on how to make career day fun. And so I was like, all right, what kind of activity, what kind of hook can I do rather than just stand up there and try to explain to them what a sports broadcaster does? Because I'm not an athlete. I'm not a professional athlete, which is what people think is really cool when it comes to sports. So I was like, well, what can I do that might make it fun? So I brought in I put together some videos and things like that and put them onto my computer and brought them in, hooked it up to the screen in the classroom and just played back some things of hey, here's what it looks like when I'm doing my job. So it's, I do this booth cam thing with a play so they can see what I do and see what happens on the play and what the job looks like and sounds like. And so the next thing I showed them was the famous Hail Mary to beat Troy
Yeah.
App State over Troy, Hail Mary, college game day, crazy finish back in 2022. And I showed them
the Mountain Part 2.
I showed them the clip from Sports Center and all this stuff. And then what I did was I brought them up one by one, put a headset on them, put the video of the play up on the screen. I said, all right, now it's your turn.
Oh, cool.
You guys, you all come up here, put the headset on, and try to describe the play. I said, don't overthink it. Just explain what's happening. What do you see? Tell it. Just whatever comes to your mind. There's no wrong way to do this, because what I did was not coherent. So get up there, bring energy, etc. And so, a lot of them were shy and didn't get a lot out of it, but some of them got up there and they're just like, he throws the ball and touchdown, and then they go crazy once the actual touchdown happens. And so bring them up there, and I put a little camera on them so they and the class could see the little picture of them on the screen while the play was going, recorded it, sent the recording to the teacher so they could watch it. So yeah, like doing career day and then having my son be in there for one of the presentations of it was a lot of fun. So yeah, so getting to participate and having that experience for my first career day at school, that was pretty cool.
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
That's really cool.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, so as predicted, it's really tough for me to narrow down my dad moments all the time.
Yep.
But especially when we've got 3 months to pick from. So I'm gonna kind of put it into a bucket, and that is April became like camping month for us. During the kids' spring break, the first week of April, we went up to the Smokies. We rented a little camper trailer because we kind of wanted to get the sense of how that might work for us in the future, because we've considered picking up something like that. This is sort of a teardrop style trailer, just so that my wife and younger daughter, Chicklet, can have an actual mattress to sleep on, because they're a little tougher to find a place to sleep than I or my older daughter Piglet.
You would sleep on a log.
I would sleep on a log, and so would Piglet. She's tough, and to prove how tough she was, not to prove it, just she did prove it. One of the nights that we were there, Chicklet and my wife were sleeping in the little trailer, which it was really only the size of a queen size bed. Like imagine a queen size bed on wheels with a slide out kitchen. That was about it. It's a small trailer that we could pull like with a Subaru Outback, They were sleeping in there, and then Piglet wanted to sleep in. I brought 2 little backpacking tents, and I was like, "Hey, if you want to sleep in these, you can have your own." And she was like, "Oh yeah." So she had her own little 1-person tent that she made her own little nest, and it was on the gravel tent pad in a campground in the Great Smoky Mountain National Park. So while we're there, it's the first week of April, so like, at various points during this trip, like it snowed on us, like nothing stuck, but snow was coming down, especially up at the higher elevations up by like Klingman's Dome. We were staying in the Smokemont campground near the Oconaluftee entrance to the park on like the Cherokee side. So we were, at a lower elevation, but still at certain points it was snowing on us. But earlier in the trip, it was warmer. And so we decided, I and Piglet would each sleep in our little tents, and it started storming, crazy thunderstorm, lightning, rain falling hard. Mm-hmm. I wake up, it's 2 a.m. I wake up and I look out of my tent, and I can't exactly tell what's going on with Piglet. She's in the tent. She's not like, she doesn't seem to be coming out or freaking out. I can see her shoes in the little vestibule. She's got her little slide on shoes, and those are still there. So I'm thinking, well, if she came out of there, she would have taken her shoes, so she must still be in there. And I'm thinking, well, if she's really panicking, she'll come out and get me, and we can both go and get in the trailer. But if she's not coming out, I just want to let her sleep or let her stay in there, because I don't want to take her out into this nasty weather. We're maybe 20 yards from the trailer, but I don't want to, cover that distance in driving rain if she's doing fine in there. At the very least, I could pull her into my tent or something, if she's worried. But the water's really starting to stack up. It's building up on this tent pad to, I'm in this little tent, but I'm looking out into my vestibule where my shoes are. And like, there's probably half an inch at least of water building up. The tent floor, the floor of my tent it feels like a water bed. The water has collected up underneath the floor, and the floor's all holding. It's still watertight, but it's definitely got like half an inch of water underneath it. So I'm like sitting on a tiny little water bed. It's a weird feeling. So anyway, she's in there. Eventually the storm dies down. I fall asleep. She falls asleep. I'm awake for 2 hours in this tent practically. And the next morning I come out, and first I go see my wife and Chicklet in the trailer. And they are like, we were up. We were so nervous. It was so loud in here with the rain falling on top of the trailer. We were up for like 4 hours. And I was like, well, I was up for like 2 hours. And we were like, well, where's Piglet? So we'd go look in her tent, and she's still in there. And I open up the zippers, and she peeks up out of her sleeping bag. We were like, were you okay during that storm? And she goes, what storm? Slept through the whole thing.
Oh my gosh.
So during this trip, she goes, at one point we pass where the Appalachian Trail cuts through.
Yeah.
And she goes, she looks at me and she goes, hey, Daddy, me and you, we're going to hike the whole Appalachian Trail one day. And I said, well, honey, that's like 2,300 miles, 6 months. That's a lot. And she goes, no discussion. Me and you, we're going to hike the whole Appalachian Trail one day. And I was like, all right, if this is how I get my hiking buddy. This is how I get my my backpacking, bike packing, hiking buddy. So that was probably my dad moment. From a month of camping, I spent 1/4 of my nights in the month of April in tents on 3 different trips. So including the one with you guys.
Yeah.
So that was great.
Sounds like there's going to be like a gap year in Piglet's future where you two just do the Appalachian Trail.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
We can both take a gap year. That sounds wonderful.
Yeah. That sounds pretty great.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. So we look forward to getting that dad moment when we're doing this podcast 8 or 9 years from now, when you return from the Appalachian Trail.
Yeah. Triad dads with a hip injury. That'll be the theme of that episode.
It's time to get serious about your financial future. It's never too early, but it could be too late to get started. And that's oftentimes the hardest part, getting started. How much do I save? Where do I invest? Do I save for college or retirement? How much for each? And who do I talk to about it all? Okay, we'll keep things simple for now and help you answer the last one. We recommend you begin with a local financial advisor, and that's Jennifer Johnson of 3 Magnolias Financial Advisors. She'll sit down with you for a complimentary introductory consultation and go over all of your questions. Get started on the path to achieving your financial goals. Visit 3magnoliasfinancialadvisors.com or call 336-701-1600. Get comfortable with your financial future. 3 Magnolias Financial Advisors, retirement, financial planning, and investments. Securities offered through Cetera Advisor Networks, LLC, member FINRA SIPC. Investment advisory services offered through 3 Magnolias Financial Advisors. 3 Magnolias Financial Advisors and Cetera Advisor Networks are not affiliated. Cetera is under separate ownership from any other named entity. Hey, I got a joke for you guys.
I hope it's funny.
My younger son told me this one last night.
Yeah.
And I laughed out loud. It's all right. So, hey, did you guys know that 10 plus 10 and 11 plus 11 equal the same thing?
How's that work?
So 10 plus 10 is 20, right?
Yeah.
And 11 plus 11 is 22.
Oh, okay. All right.
He told me that. I thought it was hysterical.
That's pretty awesome. That
was pretty good.
It's probably better coming from him than from you, frankly.
Oh, it was a lot better
if we're
coming
honest,
from him. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're up there. We're up there putting like new stuff up on his walls. He got all this new artwork back from school. His wall is completely covered in artwork, by the way. Like there's very little empty space. But the most exciting thing he got was my dad, his grandpa, brought him a Ringo Starr poster to put up on his wall. His favorite band's the Beatles, and he's a drummer. Like he takes drum lessons, and so Now he's got a Ringo Starr poster on his door in his room, so he's super excited about that. And that was right about the time he told me that joke, and I was pretty proud.
That's so rad.
That's a beautiful dad joke. Beautiful dad joke.
Love it.
Hey, do you guys know what the most patriotic sport is?
What,
Wheel
Adam,
spinning?
is the most patriotic sport?
Flag football.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, do we have
Should
a
we go? I
cricket
mean, we
sound?
should probably just go ahead and put this podcast in the comedy category, right?
Yeah, probably should.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
It's really good. Oh, hey, wow. This thing, there's something that needs to be dusted off back here a little bit.
What is that thing? It
I
looks
don't
like
know, but it is
at this point it
covered
looks
in
like
dust.
it looks like one of those old mill wheels, like a water wheel.
Yeah, it's
at an
rotting.
old-
It's rotting a little bit.
yeah, an old grist mill. Yeah, it looks.
I'm gonna reach back and I'm gonna put my hand on it and I'm gonna pull it down and I'm gonna see what happens. Okay, we'll see. If
Put your hand on it, pull it down, and see what happens.
Put my hand on it.
Those are
grab it.
normal things.
Hey yo.
Those-
All right, here we go. Let's see if it
Okay.
actually does anything.
That's this is perfect. There's nothing wrong with anything you're saying.
No. this is Oh, hey, it landed on Tim.
Hey, how about that?
I had to like brush off the dust a little bit to see like what the name actually said, but there it is, Tim.
All right. Well,
So it's your topic.
I had two that we discussed, and I might leave the second one as a little bonus depending on how the rest of the day goes. But how I wanted to start was one that I'll tell you what the topic is, and then I'll start it off so you get a sense of what I'm talking about. So my topic is, what is something that your 22-year-old self would not believe that you would get excited about as a dad in your 40s. And I'll give you some background of what inspired this for me. So in the end of April, we did something that we've been doing for the past few years as a family tradition. And that is we attended Merle Fest. Now, for those who don't know what Merle Fest is, it is a folk, bluegrass, Americana concert series music festival that has been going on in Wilkes-Barre, North Carolina for 36 years now. I think this was its 36th, maybe 35th, but I think 36th year. And this is something that was established by Doc Watson, bluegrass legend, named for his son Merle Watson, who was killed in a tractor accident relatively young. And it is just this wonderful music experience. You see some of the most incredible bluegrass and country and Americana music that you're ever going to see anywhere. Bands like Nickel Creek and legends like Peter Rowan and Sam Bush and just all kinds of folks. It's unbelievable. But one of the things specifically that makes it one of my favorite events to go to with my family is the fact that it is a dry festival. They do not sell beer. You're not allowed to bring in alcohol. I'm sure people sneak it in, but
I thought you meant that it never rains there.
That's a lie.
That is not true. That is not true, and I've got the muddy clothes to prove it. But it is one of those things that there was definitely a time when I was in my 20s that I would not go anywhere. I wouldn't go see a band if I wasn't going to be able to buy a beer.
Yeah.
And in fact, I can distinctly remember going to a music festival with one of my brothers when we were in our early 20s, kind of in those broke early professional days. He lived in New York at the time. I lived in Chicago. I went to go see him, and we got into a music festival. And one of the main things that we had to plan was we hadn't brought enough cash. We'd accidentally not brought enough cash, and there was no ATM in the festival, and none of the beer vendors accepted cards. So we had to do this like Sophie's Choice algebra of like, okay, well, if I buy a beer and then we split it into two cups, and I think that one vendor over there charges $1 less. And, I hate that we're not going to tip, but maybe we can tip extra at the next place to like pay, it was a whole thing. now when I take my family, especially my kids, to an all-day music festival in the sunshine, the last thing I want is for some like 19-year-old who's wasted off of like fake ID Coors Lights to be barfing, in the porta potty right before my kids walk in. And like, all the high drama that happens when you have an all-day music festival. There's a lot of all-day music festivals that I wouldn't dream of taking my kids to until they themselves are at least college age. But something like Merlefest, I can take the whole family. We don't have to worry about it. We can, bring our little cooler with all of our little sparkling waters and juice boxes and just have a really nice, wholesome day. And that's a real surprise to me. You guys knew me when I was 23. I think it's probably a surprise to you that I would ever be like, what I like about that festival is that they don't sell beer. But yeah, that's one of those things that just I get excited about now, and I think really adds to my enjoyment of something. And it would be a real surprise to an early 20s version of me.
Cool.
How about you guys?
So Tim just said that on a podcast with a beer sponsor on it that he prefers to do things that don't involve beer. Cool. Awesome.
Let me tell you what else. And then I save that moment. And I think, you know what? Because alcohol is something, and beer especially, is something that I really want to savor. And when you want to savor a beer and really enjoy it among friends in a responsible way, you go to a place like Fiddlin Fish Brewing Company that's located in downtown Winston-Salem in the Big Winston warehouse area. And it is one of the finest communities that you're going to find within Winston-Salem. Just a gorgeous location, and I really love what they do. They make a great product. I'm going to take another sip now while you or Dave responds to the topic.
Kick saving a beauty. Nice work.
Right.
So my answer to this question, kind of similar to what you're talking about, Tim. So in my job during certain times of the year, I travel a decent amount. So I'll spend, a handful of nights on the road in hotels, different cities, etc. What I get really excited about though when I travel is not going out to the local bars. I might enjoy a local craft brew, something inferior to Fiddlin Fish.
Yeah, because most things are.
Correct. When I'm in a different city, but I'll do it at dinner. But what I love when I travel and I look forward to is going into a quiet hotel room and going to bed at like 9:00 in total quiet and just enjoying a nice quiet night in my room and a good night's sleep. I look forward to that. There might be people that I'm with. They're like, "Hey, we're gonna go to some bars or something after dinner," and I'm like, "Nope, I'm good. I'm going back to my room. I'm gonna enjoy some quiet. I'm gonna chill. I might watch a movie or something, and just enjoy a great night's sleep." Because look, when you're in a chaotic house, like all of us are all the time, it's a nice change of pace from time to time.
Yeah.
And so when I travel and I'm staying, and I know I'm staying in a hotel, and I don't even look, no offense to anybody who might be listening that this might offend, but I don't like staying with other people. No. I don't like crashing with other people. I appreciate the offer. I don't want to sleep in your guest room. I don't want to crash on your couch. I want to get my own room. I want to get in a hotel, comfy, convenience. And I just want to just kind of chill and have some me time. So now when I was younger and when I would travel, I'd look forward to, we're going to go have some fun, go to different bars, go hang out downtown, stay out all night, whatever. And and that would be fun. I'd look forward to trying different places. But now it's give me a good meal, I wake up, go find a nice spot for a good cup of coffee and a bagel or something like that, and just take it slow, take it in a nice, smooth, steady pace, nothing crazy. That's what I look forward to when I travel, man. I love that part of it. And I am very much a hermit when it comes to being on the road especially if I'm traveling with colleagues and other people. That's what I look forward to. And there's no way I would have predicted that when I was in my 20s.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite things about work travel is being by myself in a place
Yep.
that I've never been before. And I like to rent a bike if I can and ride all over. And the other thing I get excited about is like, oh man, like in a month, I'm flying to the West Coast for work for a conference. And I'm like, oh man, a 5-hour flight. I got a book I'm just going to crush.
Yeah.
I'm gonna destroy that book.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I'm not going to stand up once. It's going to be mine.
No, just me. Just me and the book. I'm gonna have to monitor how much liquid I consume before I get on the plane. I don't even want to get up to pee.
Might have to like get myself an upgraded travel pillow or something.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yep. Get that nice.
How about
neck
you,
pillow.
Dave? Yeah.
It was funny. Going to bed at 9 was one of the first ones I thought of. For me, one of the things I realized that I love now is I've always enjoyed spending time at the beach. And now having kids, I realize like I want to be out like fully on the beach. Like I'll be out there between 8 and 9 in the morning. Like, I mean, and set up the whole thing. Like not just like, oh, take the kids out there and just let them sprint it off a little bit and go back. Like I pack the cooler, I get the umbrella, I do the whole, like everything. And I'm like, I'm just going to ride it out here with them until other people start showing up, which might be 9 or 10 or 11.
You were the MVP on that beach trip a few years ago.
Yeah.
I just like, it's like, I for some reason, it's like we're all up and then, the kids are, bouncing off the walls. And I'm like, let's go bounce off the sand and I'm gonna take my book down there, right? Because they're gonna dig and play and have fun. And I would have thought you were crazy if you told me in my 20s that you could be on the beach physically at 9 and you wouldn't die. I would have not believed it. I didn't think that was something. I was like, nah, I don't think that works that way. I don't even know if they open the ocean. Like, is the water? Like, I don't like. Is that legal? I don't think it is.
Listeners, when Adam says that Dave is a beach VIP or MVP rather, and VIP, he's both of those things. Yeah, they let him in anytime. I will never forget that beach trip. In one particular day, which happened to have been my 40th birthday, I get out to the beach. We get out to the beach. Our family does, and Dave is already there on the beach, stuff set up with his family. He's got a cooler. What's in the cooler? 2 pitchers, one containing pre-mixed mimosas and the other containing pre-mixed Bloody Marys. And it was just the most wonderful thing. And
it was so impressive.
And we proceeded to have just quite the morning beach brunch.
We did. We all
it was spectacular.
Yeah.
It was excellent.
There is a certain thrill that you get, I think, because I've done this before, not on that trip, but I've done this before where it's like you wake up and if you're at a certain beach where you know it's going to be crowded, you wake up and you have to go claim your spot.
Yeah.
Right. You go out there, you set up the canopy. If it's not a canopy friendly place, you set up the umbrellas, you set up the chairs. Like you go ahead and get your spot claimed even before you're ready to stay out at the beach. You go out there, you put it all down, you set it all up, and then you go back up and, get everybody ready to go back out. There is a certain strategy involved in this.
Yeah. Well, and that dovetails nicely with one of the other things that I think as a dad, as a parent, you start to appreciate in a new way, and that's mornings. That's something that I never thought. I've always been a late sleeper. It's still hard for me to wake up in the morning. I don't like waking up, but I do love the mornings. I love the mornings. And especially I love on the rare occasion that I can drag myself out of bed before the sun's even up and do some things while it's still dark. And then you watch the sunrise and it just gradually, like you kind of greet the morning. Again, that's something that if I was 22 and heard myself say that, I would slap myself. Or I'd try. I think 22-year-old me was weaker than 41-year-old me.
Yeah.
So he'd try, but he would fail.
42-year-old you builds raised beds. You're a brawn.
Builds raised beds. I just built a new one. I built our 6th raised bed. This past weekend.
Nice.
Had to put the.
You're ready. You guys are going to be about ready to attend the farmers market here soon.
Yeah, we were at the farmers market. That's where I got a few more of my veggie starts. Yeah. So that we could put it into the race.
You're
beds.
About ready to be a vendor at the farmers market.
That's the dream, man. That's the dream. I'm gradually going to replace all my grass with raised beds and just sell butternut squash until I'm 89, and then I'm just going to go to the beach with Dave.
And that's how you're going to feed yourself when you're hiking the Appalachian Trail.
That sounds great. This is all part of my plan. All part of my plan.
Who's ready for movie night? Our friends at the Ginther Group Real Estate are proud to sponsor another season of innovation and cinema at Bailey Park in downtown Winston-Salem's Innovation Quarter. The next film is the Super Mario Bros. Movie on Friday, June 21st. Bring your chair or blanket to Bailey Park for a great night of cinema from Aperture and beverages and food from a variety of local vendors. Pre-film fun begins at 6:30 p.m. and the movie begins at dark. These magical movie nights are made possible by the Ginther Group, the real estate experts we trust and showcase right here on the Triad Podcast Network. Check their social media for info on each upcoming movie night. And for your real estate needs, call 336-283-8689 or visit theginthergroup.com. Buying, selling, investing, or just learning. Whatever you need, start now. And like me, you can become a Ginther Group client for life.
So that's my topic. Hey,
right.
Speaking
Anybody
of
need
things,
a refill before we?
Actually, that timing is excellent. I'm going to intro my next beer, which is the Fiddlin Fish Key Lime Sour Ale. And let me tell you a little something about this. That I on this week's bike ride, I found out that there's a little trend that some folks have started at the Fiddlin Fish Brew Pub of getting the Cool as the Appalachians Lager as their main beer, and then getting the bartenders to add just a touch of the key lime sour, just about so your glass is
splash.
Like, yeah, it's like 4/5 lager, and then just like a fifth or so of the key lime sour, just to let that trickle in with the lager. So it's almost like a very sophisticated version of like a Corona with lime or something. And it's pretty good. It's pretty good. But in this case, I'm going to go full throttle with the key lime sour ale because it is delicious all by itself too.
I think I'm going to go get that as well. Be right back.
Fancy.
BRB.
BR.
If you're into the whole brevity thing.
Which we're not.
How about that wheel? You want to spin that wheel, brother?
Ooh, it landed on me.
All right. So as you guys know, and those that remember from our live show, I'm not afraid to bring up controversial topics.
Oh my God, he's an edgelord.
If you recall, back in February, I asked, is it okay to drop your doggy droppings that have been properly bagged in somebody else's dumpster while you're on a walk around the neighborhood? By the way, tonight is trash night, and we took a walk, and yet still my wife did not drop the droppings in someone else's dumpster.
By the way,
I was ashamed.
My son Sneak last week was like, does Mr. Adams still put his dog poop in other people's cans? And I was like, I don't know. You're gonna have to ask him.
Sneak. Yes, he does, Sneak. So tonight, and I'm going to go ahead and say this right now, spoiler alert for anybody who has not watched the last episodes of Bluey that were released, including the 30-minute special.
Big spoiler.
Spoiler alert.
Big spoiler. Skip ahead however many minutes.
So,
skip ahead 38 minutes. This is going to take a while.
So the long episode of Bluey, the 30-plus minute one, is called The Sign. And it's about the Healers, the family, have put their home up for sale. And long story short, they sell the house. The kids are beside themselves. Chili, the mom, doesn't love it, but understands that it's what's best for the family, according to Bandit, the dad. The home gets sold. By a stroke of luck, the people that buy the home find something better. They decide not to buy the home. There's this great scene at the end, this heroic moment when Bandit rips the sign, the for sale sign, out of the ground, signifying that they're not selling the home as they're in the car, getting ready to leave. And so the kids stay. But the entire episode is them coming to grips with the idea that they are leaving their childhood home and moving somewhere else, and how hard that can be on kids and a family. But these things happen. Dave, you recently did this with your family. So at the end of the episode, they don't sell the home. The kids stay. The girls in the family all get what they wanted, and they get to stay put. My question, should they have moved? Should they have moved? What's the better ending to that episode? The happy ending where they all get to stay and they're happy and it's great and everybody's joyous? Or is the better ending that this is a part of life and how to deal with something like that?
Yeah.
What should have happened?
So, if you have strong opinions, you guys go ahead, because I've got a couple of things.
Okay.
I'll say,
Dave,
so
I'm curious to hear from you as the only one in this trio that has had to do this with their kids.
Yeah, it hit hard for us, right? Because we had recently moved, and in the worlds we live in, we never know, too, right? Like there's always the world where jobs can change, and sometimes that means you got to move, right? And so we kind of anticipated going to this episode. This is what it's going to be about, right? It's going to be about the move. And so my wife and I are watching it, and it's like hitting us, I think, even more emotional, right? Because we're projecting our own selves onto these like anthropomorphic dogs, right? Because by God, they're amazing. And I was let down. Like my emotional response was like, oh, what? Really? Like that was I thought that when they did the flash, I thought it was going to it was going to rise up, flash forward, and show them having moved to a new spot, and that they were okay, right? That they had found new friends, they made new identities, that they were a strong enough family to overcome that. And then when it was like that they stayed, it was just, it just was an emotional letdown for me. I think there's probably like Tim, right? I got a lot of different perspectives. Like, I think there's definitely a thread in there of like, there's a good angle of, it seemed like the main reason they were doing the move was because Bandit felt like he needed a job with more money to give more to his kids. And it was sometimes you don't need more money necessarily to, right? Like you can give more to your kids through life. It's not just a cash chase. I wonder if it really came down to, if that was the last Bluey ever, right? And we never see another Bluey, like, then that's like, okay, that was one story arc. I thought it was set up an amazing like transition in another couple of seasons, right? Like new city, new adventures, new everything. So yeah, sorry. It's I've probably thought about this more than like the average person thought about the MASH finale in, 85 or whatever it was. So my thought was, it was my emotional visceral reaction was they should have moved, and I was looking forward to seeing how that would play out. So that's me.
Yeah. How about you, Adam? What did you think?
I'm the same as Dave, where I was let down by the result. I had a feeling that was going to happen, but I think it would have been a more impactful ending had they gone through with it and done the move. And I mean, look, the thing that one of the things you love about Bluey is that it does find a way to capture some sense of reality, right? And that is a topic that they have not touched on, but it's something that so many people go through, and I think it could have been so relatable. And I mean, Dave, I think articulated it so well. It could have been so relatable and impactful. And who knows the kind of impression it could have made on kids who have gone through that or are going through that, to actually carry that through. I think it sends the wrong message for any kids that are watching that have gone through a move where they've had to move away from their friends and everything that they're familiar with, to say like, well, why couldn't we do this the way that it happened with them, right? Yeah. So I'm with Dave. I agree.
Well, I hate to disappoint you guys, but that's 3 for 3. I thought that they were going to move, and I thought that would have been the right decision for all the reasons that you said. But I've got a couple of other things to say about that. First of all, they had built in the perfect outcome. that would have allowed for growth and restarting a cycle. And that was during the episode, they've got family who are getting married who want to move to their town, right? So they need a place to live. So that I thought with every fiber, okay, so what's going to happen is they are going to sell their house. When those other buyers pull out, they're going to sell their house to the brother and his wife so that they can move to town and they can start their family and they can restart the cycle. I thought that's all built in. It's ready. This is this able group of buyers who they're moving to this town to start a new life together. What better place to do it than this place that has already fostered and grown this family up? I absolutely thought that's what they were going to do. And the other part is I love the idea, though, that, maybe it's not always about money. Recently, my wife, about a year ago now, my wife changed jobs to a job that paid a lot less. Spoiler alert, she's in healthcare and makes more money than I do, and always has and always will. But she took a significant pay cut, and in the year since, one of the things she got out of that was she works from home. So we have talked so much about some of like the simple joys that we can find in life, and how some of the things that we were spending money on, before she made this job change, were things that we had to do to sort of balance out the fact that she had a job that was stressing her out. And now she's a job that's much more of a balance. And so it's like, what's the money for if you're only gonna, stress yourself out? So I got that angle too. But the other part is ultimately like, I don't know, I haven't read any, think pieces. I'm sure they're out there of this. Is what I realized is that it struck me as Bandit has always been an allegory. It's been the analog for the creator of the show. Right. So he is the dad figure, and whoever the children are who voice are sort of like stand-ins for his own kids. That's always been the way that it's been presented, is like the show creator. Part of the reason why he understands parenthood is because he is himself a parent. I don't know like even what his name is or whatever, but there have been, some back and forth about the show and its portrayal of moms and dads. And I think a lot of it is good and healthy, but I think that also, some people complain that it sets up unrealistic expectations for how involved parents can be and that sort of thing, which I think personally, I think that that's overstating it. I love the hungover parents after New Year's or whatever. You were dancing on the patio table. So, I think that it's a very realistic depiction of parenthood in a lot of ways. But ultimately for that episode, it struck me as an allegory of whether he was going to continue the show or not. The house was the show, and it was a question of, I thought it was weird because ultimately I thought it was weird that it was Bandit's decision. Like, why was it Bandit's decision? Why did Chili not get a say? She seemed to be unhappy about it, but it was really about him and what he was deciding.
Yeah.
And, that he could go do something for more money, or he could do this, or he could do that. And so the only reason, like, that actually ran counter to a lot of the parenting model, the very co-parenting model that has been set up through the duration of the show. And I figured the only way that could really be squared for me is if it was actually an allegory about the continuation of the show. It was really the showrunner saying, look, a lot of people are pulling me in a lot of different directions. I want to continue doing this. This is a show that means a lot to me. I want to stay in the house. I'm not ready to give this up. I'm not ready to do my big cash out. So this is me continuing on in this model that we've set up. So that was what I took away from it, which, maybe I'm reading too much into it, but my experience with Bluey is that you can't read too much into it because it's got a lot of really beautiful layers. And I actually loved the episode and the wedding, and then you see and Chili's sister who's gonna have a baby. It's really amazing.
It's great.
I think if that's what they were going for, if it really is a representation of the show and whether or not it will continue, stay in the house. I want to see that show continue. We all love that show, right? So yeah, if that's what it requires for us to be okay with them staying in the house, is looking at it through that prism, I'm good with that.
Yeah, and again, that's all me putting on. I haven't looked up. I don't know if that's what they were going for, but that's what my I'm a recovering English major, and that was kind of what I got out of it. But who knows?
Yeah. But I think we're all in agreement in terms of we were a little disappointed at what in the way that the show ended, or that episode ended.
Yeah.
That was the way that it happened. But again, I do think that even though not going through the move, the motivation behind the move was a little counter to the way that show has been portrayed in terms of parenthood, right? In terms of the things that matter.
Yeah. Do you have a different interpretation of the episode? You can email us at triaddadswithdrink@gmail.com and tell us what you thought of the sign episode of Bluey, that 28-minute full-length episode of Bluey.
Not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor. Could be.
Disney Plus.
Disney Plus. Come on, break us off some of that Hulu money. Come on.
All right. Let's, well, maybe, I guess that topic wasn't as controversial as I thought it was going to be because we all kind of agreed.
I love when we all agree. I think it's nice.
Let's go back to talking about dropping dog poop in people's dumpsters.
Don't do it.
or the Minions movie.
We ended up also talking,
or I could spin the wheel again.
We ended up talking about controversial things that dogs do either way. So it's all good.
Nice.
Yeah. Hey, how about spin that wheel?
Ooh, and just as it always does, it lands on somebody that hasn't landed on the previous two spins.
Which is?
It has landed on Dave.
Oh man, the magic wheel does it again. So this episode was supposed to be the week before Mother's Day until the great vomit incident of 2024 happened. So instead, we're doing it the week after Mother's Day, which I think works out just fine for this category, this topic still. So it was Mother's Day with kids and planning is always it's an interesting thing, right? To try to do something that's meaningful, that actually is something the mom wants, right? That doesn't backfire and cause something worse than what you were hoping to bring on. So what I was thinking for this one is we could just play around with a little bit of how would you celebrate Mother's Day? Wrong answers only. Like, so what are the things, and this could either be from personal experience or just from avoided disasters, but what are the things that, people think, oh, this is what you should do for Mother's Day, but in reality, it's, an SNL sketch ready to happen. And then if you want to share what you actually did for Mother's Day, feel free to do that.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to lead off. So mine is the wrong answers only for celebrating Mother's Day is brunch at a restaurant.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
I mean, I worked in restaurants for years, like in high school and college, and Mother's Day was always the most insane day to work, like just the number of people that came through. And then when I met my now wife, like it was pretty much a staple, right? Every single Mother's Day celebrating her mom when we were together was a brunch. And it was always fine. It was always a little chaotic, right? Like typically there's 9,000 people in there. The service is slower. Sometimes you have to wait forever, even if you got a reservation. And then at some point in time, brunch involved children. And it's like, well, let's get a table for 10 and try to put them in fancy clothes on a Sunday morning and get them to sit still. And it's like everybody's stressed and sweating a little bit. Like the mimosas cannot come fast enough. It's Mother's Day brunch with small children, I think, is not where it's at. And probably to that end, we spent our Mother's Day this year walking
at a restaurant
up to
having brunch.
That's right. No, we had brunch at the little local college, a little small college in the town that we live in. So we walked up there and watched a baseball game and sat outside and drank beers and ate peanuts and Dippin' Dots and just enjoy the day. So the not a traditional Mother's Day, but a pretty great one because it just involved hanging out outside, watching some baseball and drinking some beer.
Yeah. So this is the first thing I thought of, and I think I don't know if I can come up with a better answer to this in terms of things that I think would be a good idea on Mother's Day, but in reality, they're probably not, which is, I don't think Mother's Day is about just letting your wife, if that is indeed the situation that you're in, where you're, whatever, everyone's Mother's Day is different, where you tell your wife, hey, whatever you want, just tell me what you want. What do you want for breakfast? What do you want for dinner? What do you want to do during the day? Don't make her make decisions.
No.
Don't make her make decisions. Moms make a million decisions every day of the year. My wife, I guarantee, would agree with this. And I'm still learning how to do this on Mother's Day because I still haven't gotten this right. But it is, I feel like what she would want more than anything, yes, spending time with the family and the kids with a little bit of me time mixed in. But it is, just don't make me make any decisions today. That's it. Like, I want to have a fun day. I want to do some special stuff. Doesn't have to be too crazy. Like, you don't have to like spend a bunch of money and do all this crazy stuff. But like, don't ask me what I want for dinner. Yeah. Don't ask me what I want for breakfast. Just don't make me make any decisions. I just want to enjoy the day. Yeah. I think that's what I still have to. I know that to be the right answer. Yeah. But I'm still working on execution.
Yeah. Same. It's a struggle.
Yeah. I gotta say that it's what I thought of with this, Dave, was the same as what you thought of, and that's brunch. The thing about Mother's Day brunch is it's the same problem that going out on New Year's Eve or going out on Valentine's Day to dinner it's amateur hour. It's when everybody who doesn't usually do this stuff does it. Like if you're only going to go out 3 times in the year, or at least in the first half of the year, those 3 times are going to be New Year's Eve for drinks, Valentine's Day for dinner, and Mother's Day for brunch, right? and so you've got this influx of people. There's never enough, never enough staff. It's too much, So I'm not a big fan of that. How we celebrated Mother's Day was we went the day before and got cards and treats. The kids and I did some nice, lovely baked goods for my wife and brought them and made it an exciting thing and a secret. Which she always knows what's going on. There are no secrets in this home. But the kids had some time that like. They could be, frankly, one of the parts of the present was that the day before, the kids wanted to make a banner for my wife. So I set them up out back, like under. We have a big area under the deck of our house. There's underneath our deck is our garage door, and so there's this big area with it's nice and covered. It's out of the sun, and I put out a tarp so that they could use glitter and glue and paint and all this stuff and make a banner for Mom, which was cool because they were then out there working on that for 2-3 hours. I don't even know how long it took, how long they spent on that thing. They were printing out pictures, and pasting them to the banner. They made this incredible thing that simultaneously got them out of the house. This is when I was also working on the garden. So that meant that my wife had several hours of quiet with me occupied by yard work and gardening, and our kids occupied by making this banner. So, waking up in the morning, making her a nice coffee, giving her some delicious baked goods, having a banner that the kids made, giving her cards, and that sort of stuff is what she really wants. We also celebrate our wedding anniversary and Mother's Day practically, at the same time. So the rest of the way that we celebrated was that night we went out to dinner, which strangely wasn't crowded at all. Nobody takes Mom out to dinner. Everybody takes Mom
You're still
to brunch.
Full from brunch.
Yeah, exactly. So we went out to dinner and then went and saw a comedian, Nate Bargatze, who is one of our absolute favorite comedians, was playing at the Greensboro Coliseum in Greensboro, part of the lovely Piedmont Triad. And so we went and saw Nate Bargatze, had some solid seats. I was excited about them. They weren't cheap tickets, but I was surprised at how good the seats were relative to where I thought they were. And yeah, we went and saw Nate Bargatze and ate Indian food and just had a great night together while my brother and his girlfriend took care of the kids. So
nice.
It was awesome.
That's awesome. So we did go to brunch for Mother's Day. We went to the Porch, which actually wasn't too bad.
Yeah,
That's a good spot. We didn't want to go to like one of the more popular, like the Porch is a popular restaurant, but not necessarily for brunch. So, so we did okay. We got to sit down right away, which was great. The reason why we did that was we had my younger son, Picky Eater, had a flag football game where we had to be at the field at 9:00. And we didn't leave until after 11. So the entire morning was flag football. So we went to brunch afterwards. Delicious, by the way. Porch, great local restaurant.
It's amazing.
Love it.
Fantastic brunch. But I brought that up because I wanted to share this story. This is a great dad moment. And I can't take credit for this, although it involved the flag football team that I coach. So, we had to bring all the moms out to the flag football field on Mother's Day, which, look, I don't think a lot of them were excited about that. Yes, they get to watch their kids play flag football, but would they rather be doing other things, whether it's church, brunch, combination of the two? Probably.
You can eat brunch in church? Continue.
It's brunch. Chunch.
Chunch. Chunch.
Chunch. So one of the guys who helps me coach the team, he sends me a message like early in the week leading up to Mother's Day. And he says, "Hey, give me a call when you got a second. I got an idea for the game on Sunday for Mother's Day."
Nice. And
his idea was, and he coordinated it. All the credit goes to this guy. Shout out. This is a dad moment. So his name's Aaron. Shout out to Aaron if you're listening. Great dad moment. Great husband moment too. So we have 11 kids on the team, and in there the phrase "Thank you, Mom" has 11 letters in it. So he said, "Let's get each kid on the team to take a poster board and write a letter on their poster board. And it all spells out, 'Thank you, Mom.'" And we're going to do that. We're going to bring all the posters to the game. And at halftime, we're going to give everybody their poster board. They're going to walk out. We're going to line them up, and they're going to show their sign to all the moms at halftime to say thank you. And we pulled it off. 11 kids, 7 and 8 years old, some of them younger. They all showed up. They all did the assignment. He got all the dads together on a text thread to make sure that everybody knew what letter they were supposed to do. Everybody, all the kids showed up for the game. No letter was missing. We practiced it right before the game started, and we nailed it. It was a really cool moment.
That was awesome.
And so, shout out to Aaron, one of the coaches on our flag football team, for that idea and the execution. That was awesome. So that was a really cool Mother's Day moment. Everything else we did, like the brunch was great, but everything else we did during the day, we just kind of hung out around the neighborhood that day. It was a beautiful afternoon. Kids played outside, took the go-kart out for a while. They did laps around the block, played with some of the other kids. The moms all kind of got together and just drank margaritas and hung out in front of one of the houses and watched the kids play. It was kind of nice.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, it was a great day.
That sounds
great
fun.
Day. Yeah.
Should have come and hung out with you.
You should have, yeah. My daughter Nugget wanted to wash the car, so we got some buckets of soap and sponges, and she played around in that, and the kids all drove the go-kart, and my wife took a nap during the afternoon. That was rare. So yeah, good. And
incredible.
My gift was my wife's really gotten into pickleball, and like every other, I think, adult in their midlife stages, and I got the kids to all make an art design on a piece of paper, and then put it into a collab. Put it into a collage, and found a place that could take that and print it on a cover for a pickleball paddle. So now she has a cover for her pickleball paddle that has this collage of this artwork that our kids made for Mother's Day. Yeah.
That's
That
amazing.
is awesome.
Pretty nice little Sunday.
Those are some things to do and not to do for Mother's Day.
Yeah, but that was the key. Like the wrong answers only is, yeah. Tell the mom in your life that she can decide to do whatever she wants to do on Mother's Day.
Yeah,
you just tell me what you want. We'll do it. Wrong answer. Wrong answer. Plan it out. Don't make her make any decisions.
Part of what I was doing just now was looking up anagrams for "Thank You, Mom" to see if there are any terrible words that could have been spelled out.
If we would have lined them up
if you would have
incorrectly.
scrambled them up. Have you ever seen the SNL sketch where there's like basically the letters U, C, K, and F, and they're like a friendly junction, like a children's show, and they've got it on there. It's like Will Ferrell and Tim Meadows, and they're trying to keep them from getting into the wrong order. And there's like stressed out producers. They keep trying to stop them from lining up in the wrong order. But anyway, there's nothing too bad. The word homonym exists. If the T and A and U weren't there, then and the K, T, A, K, and U weren't there, then you get homonym. Scrambled up. That nothing bad though.
The category is an album cover.
Anal bum cover.
That's awesome.
Penis mightier. Oh, that's right.
Well, Dave, I think there's only one thing left to do on this episode.
That's right.
Hey, thanks for listening to this episode on the Triad Podcast Network. Our mission is simple: provide information, advice, and stories about the people and places that make the North Carolina Triad such a great place to be. You can find us by searching Triad Podcast Network on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, pretty much wherever you like to listen. If you like what you heard and want to support the show and those that contribute, we would truly appreciate a rating and review on your favorite podcast app. It helps spread the word along, as do your shares on social media. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at Triad Podcast. To get in touch with us, simply email info@triadpodcast.com. Thanks for listening.